Welcome back, beer tubers. Ryan here, back with another episode of San Diego Beer Vlog. Thanks for joining me. We're going to be looking at one of the newer Dogfish Head beers. This one is called Positive Contact, and I'm glad to find a single bottle of this because one of the shops was trying to sell a 6-pack of this with the record because there's a music association for like 80 bucks. So I'm glad to find a single bottle. Let's get this thing open. And I'll talk about what is involved with this beer, because there's a bit of extra ingredients as you kind of expect for a lot of Dogfish Head beers. First thing I noticed just looking at the bottle was there is a lot of chunks floating around this beer. And I don't know if that's necessarily yeast. But it says this is a ale brewed with apple cider and spices, a positive combination of Fuji cider, slow-roasted Farro, a bit of cayenne, and fresh cilantro. And this is, I guess, a collaboration with Dan the Automator. I don't know if that's hip-hop or whatever. I don't know. It's not any music that I tend to follow. So, and I'm a pretty big music geek. I'm just not into hip-hop and electronic stuff. But I love a bunch of other weird music that no one else has probably heard of. So we won't get into that. Let's get into the beer. Pours out like I expect. Really, really hazy. It's like a darker straw and a light golden color. Got a nice, mostly small bottle, one finger, bright white head. It's a 9% beer, so far pretty good lacing. The style, they call it just an ale, but I believe this is a saison style, you know, Belgian style kind of farmhouse ale with those other interesting ingredients. Let's get the aroma. Right away, I get the apple character. You definitely get that. It's got this sweet cider kind of character. You definitely get a little bit of that herbal cilantro thing going, which has a slight lemongrass character. You get Belgian yeast spice as well. It's just that, you know, your typical Belgian yeast, slight bit of that kind of funkiness, that earthiness the yeast has. You know, like a little bit of a muskiness. There's also some pear notes in there, you know, the kind of white stone fruit type of character. A little bit of sweet pilsnery kind of malt coming through on the nose as well. It is 9%, but I can't smell any alcohol, so it's a good sign. Let's dig in. Cheers. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's like right away I really just recognize that cider character in there. The apples are present, but it's not too overpowering. It works well with, you know, sometimes you get some of those red apple notes and saisons, and this time you're certainly getting that sort of apple character amplified a bit more with the fact that they're actually using apples and not just letting the yeast produce that character. Alright, so I took a quick break. Just want to let this beer warm up some more because I was drinking. I knew it was too cold. Some of those extra flavors they added were not coming out as much in the flavor. So I think this is a beer you want to drink around, you know, 50 degrees or so, maybe slightly warmer. But as it comes out, I'm not getting a ton of cayenne. It's probably there just to add a slight little subtle bit of complexity to the beer, but my palate's not picking up on much of it. Like, I'm definitely not getting any heat to it. I think the cilantro might come through a little more. You're starting to get a little bit of that herbal lemongrass character. That's definitely present. As it warms, the apple character tends to get dialed back a bit more, and it kind of lets the yeast take over a bit more, and it blends much better together with everything. Even as it warms, the alcohol still not very present at all, which is great. This is a pretty easy drinking 9% beer. You still get a lot of the yeast spiciness. You get a slight bit of like a banana character coming from the yeast. The pear, that kind of white stone fruit character is definitely there as well to kind of blend well with the apple character that's involved. Something I always worry about their beers is being too sweet, and this one's definitely not too sweet. It has very good balance to it. It's got some of the sweeter bready notes in there, but you know, so the apple doesn't overpower the beer at all. Carbonation is slightly low for the style, but just, I mean, there's still enough to kind of really kind of cleanse your palate each time you have it. So, you know, I'd recommend picking this up, find it for a decent price. I mean, it is a little pricey. It's like $11, $12 a bottle, maybe even slightly more, but Worth checking out if you want a unique American take on a Saison. So I'm going to go B+ on this one. Definitely think it's above average. Just not quite wowing me into the A category, but Positive Contact is definitely one of the more unique Saisons I've had, so I got to give them credit for that. So it's going to wrap it up. Until next time, please comment and subscribe. Cheers.